Fantastic Four is so bad that they're still hiding the results of the box office. That's right. They hid them to the very last moment. They didn't update them till they absolutely knew they had to. And when it came out this weekend that they dropped more than 66%, well, it made Disney look worse by measure. Substantial measure at that. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, they hid those results, and yes, they were second weekend reporting the wrong numbers to their investors, but it's worse than that because they're doing it again. Let's jump into it. Here we go. Now, folks, quick reminder, double check you're still subscribed to the channel. Look down there in the section below. If it doesn't say subscribe, turn that little red button to gray, turn on all notifications, and hit the thumbs up button. It'll save you some time for later. And don't forget, when we're done, let me know your thoughts about everything that's going on here, because it's some real shenanigans. Let's jump into the story coming to us from CosmicBookNews.com, where Matt McGloin is at work giving you accurate information in a timely fashion, or at least as timely as he's allowed to, because Fantastic Four box office flop was bigger. It bombed with 38.7 million, not 40 million. That number was revised down quite a ways, dropping it from 66% to 67 point change. We'll get into the change in a moment. But this is incredibly embarrassing for the keeper of the keys over there at Marvel. Kevin Feige is a giant loser that just keeps losing. And no matter what he does or says, even if he says it 6 months, 2 years ago, doesn't seem to matter. Nothing seems to help. And let's have a moment of silence, because Matt says, take your hats off, folks, because we have to have a moment of silence for hashtag RIP MCU. And it continues. Marvel's Fantastic Four First Steps has bombed harder than initially thought, as the second weekend actuals have come in lower. I would say much lower. The second weekend actually comes to 38.7 million, marking a massive 67.1% drop, one of the biggest ever for the MCU. And we'll take a look at some of those in just a moment. But the original estimates pegged this thing at 55 to 60%. And boy, were they wrong. And I told a lot of people they were going to be wrong. The devastating 80% drop on that Friday to Friday was kind of what it was always going to be, because when you add Thursday numbers to Friday, you're always going to get an artificial Friday number the first week, which makes the second week's Friday always a bummer, because it's not going to compete with the first week and all the added receipts that they gain. After that drop, Friday saw estimates revised to 40 to 66%. Those numbers not correct. It's much worse. As I mentioned before, 38.7 million over the weekend equals a 67.1% drop. I'm going to keep saying those numbers because they're going to not stop being true. And that's one of the things that Disney is afraid of, the truth getting out there. I mean, it has been for a long period of time. Most of us in this sphere talk about the truth all the time. It's an inconvenient truth for all of these corporations that traded in quality and story for politics and divisiveness, but in the end, they're 100% right. But for now, the MCU is going on a big hiatus, and thank goodness, maybe. Hard to say, not much to elevate towards a big showdown film or any kind of a saga. It's even hard to feel like we're going to have a big film or saga, because I don't think we are. I said that the first steps were actually the final steps for the MCU, and I think the funeral is going to be whatever or however many Doom movies there are. I don't see this coming back. Do you? Let me know those thoughts in the comments section below. But as they go on this big hiatus, Marvel has pushed both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars back, likely knowing full well that, Fantastic Four would bomb. Well, we told them. All they had to do was listen. There's a reason Feige didn't show up at Comic-Con, because he was going to get booed off the stage. I don't see a positive reception for anything Marvel, and if the audience hadn't booed at him, he would have been even more ill-prepared to absorb the huge damage that he's caused with the Marvel studio overall. DC is now on top, and that's true whether the John Rocha wants to admit it or not. It's on the rise would probably be the best way to describe it, but at least everybody has a sense of the comic book universe they're going into, and it's not dark and dreary or dystopian, which, boy, could we use for a while. Superman only dropped a paltry 53.2% in its second weekend, bringing in over 58.4 million. Another embarrassment for Disney. When you look at the box office, it's over 550 million and probably well above that now. It's doing great here domestically and not so great internationally, but to be fair, nothing is. Unless you're a dinosaur, of course. We'll talk about that another day.
That is one big pile of shit.
But the budget is reported to be 200 million, which we know is a lie. That was the budget when they started shooting Frame 1, but in no way was that indicative of what the actual financial spend was on this disaster. Not to mention the advertisement that's done on these things with all the marketing expenses that you take on when you're trying to get people to come and see a film nobody's going to come and see. So it needs to hit at least 500 million to break even. That's being awfully kind, Matt. You know better than that. It needs to hit, well over 600 million to sniff a $200 million budget profit. And it likely needs to hit at least 750 to break even, to be more honest about the situation. And according to Matt, as he expresses, I've been told the budget is a lot higher, actually north of 350, and I think all of us have now heard that and had it confirmed to us. So the reshoots and all the other things definitely took a toll. And if that's the case, it needs to be around 875 to break even, which is not happening. I can't see anybody out there in the audience that knows anything about film saying, oh yeah, it's definitely going to make 875. No, it's not. It's going to be a quantum money loser, just like everything that comes after. They cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. They sprayed it all around the room like a 2-year-old, thinking that the party would never end. It ended. It ended a long time ago, like 3 phases ago, at this thing called Endgame, because you absolutely did not invest back in your audience, good storytelling, writers, directors, and a proper path that, well, would have left all of the nonsense of political narrative out of these things, because it doesn't work. So expect Fantastic Four to continue to plummet. Well, no kidding. I mean, I think we all expect that. Fans have already turned their attention to Spidey, and it's just starting to shoot over in Glasgow. That's right. If you want to catch some filming, if you are lucky enough in the next couple of weeks, maybe you'll catch some Spidey in Scotland. But for now, Fantastic Four First Steps grosses a whopping 197.27 million. Didn't even cross 200 million in its second weekend. International, it only did 170.3 million. Not looking good. With a worldwide gross of $367.4 million, which is a little limpy. A little limpy. The second MCU weekend drops. We need to take a look at these. I'm glad he provided them. Black Panther, 44.7%. That's nice and tidy. Let's go to the bottom, shall we? Oh, wow. We had Thor, Love and Blunder, falling 67.7%. That's a little lower than Fantastic Four First Steps, which fell to 67.1. So the only things worse, again, Thor, Love and Blunder, No Way Home, which was one of the biggest movies ever as far as openings go, so I'm not surprised by that. Black Widow, not surprised by that. Terrible movie, terrible story, and a terrible release strategy that ended up, well, not netting them as much money as it could have. Captain Anti-America, well, we knew this was coming, with 68.3%, because that was pure garbage beginning to end. Quantum Mania, 69.9, still not the worst, but pretty terrible. What a flat movie. What a misuse of the volume. Anyway, The Marvels at 78.1%, the worst ever Marvel film in the history of Marvel films. And I know, I've seen them all.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
But there's something I find curiouser and curiouser. It seems that the numbers can't get us the numbers on the previous day. We should already have Monday's box office. I mean, here's a bunch of films reporting that are going to be in the top 5. Four of them are there with the bad guys, the Naked Gun, Superman, and Jurassic World Afterbirth. But where's Fantastic Four? We should already have Monday's numbers. Why don't we? Well, this is a problem we've been running into on the numbers more and more frequently. And as of now, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as of when this is being recorded, we don't have any. And it's Tuesday. Where are these numbers? I'm going to give it one more refresh. We're going to cross our fingers. They didn't show up. This is a bad look. And I'm not going to blame the numbers. I'm going to blame Disney for not getting the numbers to anybody else, because I went looking, couldn't find them. Are they willingly, intentionally delaying these to the last moment because they have an earnings call on Wednesday, which as of, again, now when I'm recording this, that's tomorrow? It's possible. And if so, it'll be the third time in regards to this film that they've been playing Shenanigans. Again, if they're doing that. If they're not doing that, and they happen to be the only studio who can't get their numbers in by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the following day, Disney needs some help, and they need it soon. Because, hey, how am I supposed to call them out for all their shenanigans if I can't even see them? I mean, huge loss for me. But look, we're just going to drop it at that point and say, hey, Disney, get your act together. Hey, numbers, get your act together. And hey, Marvel, get your act together. Because I don't think there's going to be anybody to come back to when we get Doomsday. But hey, audience participation time. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you looking forward to Doomsday still? Do you think there's gonna be anything there for anybody to be interested in? There wasn't, based on the last three movies. The last three failures and flops were kind of a drag and didn't have a cohesive story, let alone something that was intriguing that drove a massive audience. You're not seeing people go back for repeat views of any of these Marvel garbage fests. And if Disney continues to set money on fire in the studios, I don't think there's going to be a lot more tolerance in the investment community for that. I could be wrong. Maybe secretly the Think Man over at BlackRock is writing checks left and right, but that's for you to decide. If you have any other thoughts about how Marvel can get back on track or whether they will, again, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands because it's good hygiene. Wash your hands because it's good hygiene. And until next time, see ya! But nowhere near a Disney film.